welcome back to this week's vlog, and I thought I would do a different type of video. Dan's kicking his treat ball. But in today's video, I thought I'd do meet the horses. Now, I know a lot of you have been following me right from the beginning of me starting my vlogging, so you guys might not really be wanting to watch this video, as you guys all know my horses and know the journey that I have been on. But I've had a fair few new subscribers, so thank you all so much to the new subscribers that have subscribed to my channel recently. I really appreciate it. Like, it's just amazing. Like, I'm just blown away with the amount of people that support me on my journey with my horses and things. And yeah, I appreciate it so much, and you guys don't realise how much I appreciate it. It means so much to me. So yeah, thank you all so much. So I thought, to all the new subscribers, or even to people that might have been following me for a year or two but don't really know my horses like that, then this video is for you. So I'm going to start off with Dan. I'm currently sat in my pyjamas on the chair because obviously I'm still at the stage with my ankle. But Dan, it'd be nice if you could join in the vlog. Hey, good boy. So this is Danny. He is, well, we bought him as 14.2, but we measured him about a year ago now, and he was that much off of 15.1. And he is a Welsh cross cob. He is 16 years old. He will be 17 next year in May. And he is basically my main horse, my all-rounder. I do a bit of everything with him. I don't have a main discipline. We go on fun rides, we do trail hunting, we'll go show jumping, we'll go and do a bit of dressage, although it's really not our thing. We'll go cross country, hunt trials, showing. We've really got into our showing the last 2 years or so. What else do we do? Beach rides, hacking with friends. We literally do everything. We've had a go at Gymkhana, but that was with the pony club, never like competitively or anything like that. He is just my little rounder, and he's my one in a million, my best friend. He is honestly the most amazing pony ever. I've had so much fun with him. I bought him in 2019, but I did have him on loan for 6 months before that. So I had him on loan August 2018. Hello, baby. Mwah. And yeah, I wasn't planning on getting him. I wasn't looking for a horse. It just kind of happened, basically. And it's the best thing that had ever happened to me. He got me into jumping. Don't get me wrong, he has lost my confidence as well, haven't you, bud? But I was never interested in jumping. I was literally petrified. I would scream going over a pole on the floor. I'm not even joking. So when I got him, I was told he's not a horse to learn to jump on because he will put in stops. And I was never bothered because I was like, I'm not a jumper anyway. I just want a good all-rounder to like something that's safe to hack, have lessons on some things. I'm not really worried about jumping. 4 weeks later, I have my first jump on him, and I jumped 60 centimetres on him, which I'd never jumped that big in my whole entire life. I'd only been over like cross poles if I had jumped, but I'd be petrified. He'd taken me over my first 90 centimetres jump. And yeah, we have lost our confidence over the way, just basically down to me lacking confidence, which obviously he picks up from. So if I'm not riding him enough, he will put a stop in, but most horses do. But yeah, he's just honestly my one in a million. I've had so much fun with him over the last 5 years. Unfortunately, the last 9 months or so, we haven't been out doing anything, as you guys may know. But Dan done an injury back in April this year, and he was on box rest, and I've only been back riding him since August, and we've just got onto our canter work. But obviously with my whole ankle situation, it's kind of put us on hold, although my friend is riding him. So yeah, we haven't been out doing anything exciting, but I'm really looking forward to 2025 with him, to just go out and have lots of fun, basically. I was never a confident rider before I had Dan. I was always a very nervous rider. If I went to a competition with my previous ponies, I wouldn't end up going into the class, or if I did, I'd have to be on the lead rein, although I would ride on my own when I was at home. But as soon as I went into a competition environment, I'd be like, hold me sort of thing, or I wouldn't end up doing it. I was a really nervous rider. So Dan has just basically made my confidence grow so much. He has basically made me the rider I am today. the reason I've got confidence is because of Dan. I never had it before, and yeah, he's given me the confidence to learn to jump and to want to jump. He has also knocked my confidence when jumping as well, but that's just lack of confidence. He is known to have refusals and that things. He used to do it with his previous owner, but when I first got him, he never refused with me. I think it's because I never had it in my head that he was going to refuse with me. I was so game for it and like, yes, we're going to do it. And then this one particular time he did do a stop with me. Due to his saddle, it was nothing else. It was not him being naughty or anything. It was his saddle pinching him. And although I know it was his saddle, I've had that stuck in the back of my head, and I've tried so many times to try and get that out of my head. It was his saddle. It wasn't his fault. And because I have it in the back of my head now that he will refuse, and I don't ride enough to the jump, he'll stop. But when I'm like having really confident days and like really riding him, he flies everything I point him at. So the main problem is me, to be honest, because he never used to refuse with me at the beginning because I was confident and I used to ride him and I never experienced him refusing with me. But since he has refused with me, yeah, I've had quite a lot of falls with him. But yeah, he has honestly just grown. He's got my confidence back up with my jumping, don't get me wrong. But yeah, he has given me so much confidence for everything else. I would never have confidence for anything else if it wasn't for him. You know, he's given me confidence to ride other horses. I would have never have wanted to have got on other people's horses or anything. He's given me the confidence and the belief to let me ride people's horses and things. Yeah, he is just truly a superstar, and yeah, I probably would not be where I am now without him. Hey mister, you are my best friend, my rock and everything, aren't you? Hey? He's such a good boy, and we've had so much fun over the years, and I cannot wait for 2025 to just get out there and have lots of fun as well, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. I'm so excited, and I really hope that 2025 is going to be our year. So yeah, keep an eye out for the vlogs for next year. Pony number 2 is Mittens. Now, I have had Mittens for the end of December, will be 9 years, which is just absolutely crazy. You have been an interesting pony, let's just say. No, I wouldn't be without her. I wouldn't change her for the world. We've had our ups and downs. I got her when I was 9 years old, and she was very, very green. She was 8 when we got her, but had only ever been a brood mare until we got her. She'd only ever been sat on, like once or twice, never actually been ridden. I was the first person to basically ride her, take her for a hack for the first time. I was basically the first person to do everything with her. First trot, first canter, first time taking over a cross pole. Not that I don't know how I done that because I was literally petrified. It was like 30 centimetres, but yeah, I was the first person to literally do everything with her, which is quite surreal, really. Like thinking that I was only 9 and I was very inexperienced, and looking back now, it wasn't really the ideal situation I was in, as I was obviously inexperienced myself, very young, not confident, trying to bring on a pony that's green as well. But we done it, and yeah, where I got her from, we kept her there for a while, where I was riding her and things, hacking her out, and I'd done like my first trot, my first canter and everything with her there. And then we brought her home. She was kind of a Christmas present from a lady that I had a previous pony from that unfortunately died just before I had Mittens, which I have mentioned in previous vlogs before. And my aims with Mittens was just her to be an all-rounder. I wanted to do penny club camp with her, just a bit of everything really, kind of like what I do with Dan, but wasn't really thinking going down the jumping stage with her. And she isn't really a jumping pony, and probably one of the main reasons is because I never really done it with her, just because I didn't really want to do that. I have jumped around a course of cross poles and things, but I'm not really worried about jumping her, and she isn't really a jumper, but she probably would have been if I spent the time doing it with her, but at the time I wasn't interested in jumping or anything. But yeah, we have achieved a fun ride with her. I've taken her to some showing classes before in hand. I was the first person again to take her to a show and do the fun ride with her and things. What else have we done, Mitts? That's really it, because unfortunately Mittens hasn't had the best of luck over the years. I started riding her and doing a bit with her and things, and then unfortunately my dad died, which put a hold to everything basically. I stopped riding for ages, and it was basically me and my dad that was working with her. I was going to do the riding side with her, and my dad was going to guide me through it, and then he was going to do all the groundwork with her. But then obviously circumstances changed and things, and when my dad passed, we wasn't experienced enough to do it ourselves, so we decided to send Mittens off to a schooling livery to be schooled and just get out and see a few things really. So that is what we done, but unfortunately where we sent her didn't do what we wanted her to do, and she ended up just being lunged. She never got hacked out like we wanted her to. She never really got schooled. At the start she did a little bit, but then in the end she mainly got lunged. So we decided that we were spending a lot of money for her to just be lunged when we could actually do that ourselves, and I figured I could actually do more with her by taking her out and riding her myself than spending all that money when nothing was really happening with her. So we stopped doing that and we moved her to a livery yard, which was DIY, and I just done lots of hacking. There was a few people on the yard who hacked out most days, so I would hack her out pretty much every day. They had a sand school as well, so I'd ride her in the school, and I was having weekly lessons with her, and we was actually going quite well, but she was known to put her tongue over the bit, lock her neck and tank off with me in the sand school, but she wouldn't do that every time. We would have some good schooling sessions with her, and we did get her going really nicely as well, and we would be pursuing her like once or twice a week to just try and build up the top line and the muscle and everything. And then that's when I took her to her first ridden show, and I done a fun ride with her and things was going great. We was doing really well together. We done a dressage competition together and things. I think we come third. And then unfortunately Mittens done a check ligament with us, which meant she was out of action for 9 months. So yeah, that was a very long time, and that's kind of how I got Dan basically. And then so I had Dan on loan for 6 months, then he went back for 5 weeks. So Mittens was at the stage where I could start rehabbing her, where I had to do 6 weeks of walk, 6 weeks of trot, then go on to canter work. So I started doing the walking with her. I got to 5 weeks, and then we got asked if we wanted to buy Dan, which is what we done. And I was a bit too big for Mittens really, not height wise, because obviously I'm riding her now, but I was too heavy for her, you know. I forgot to say, guys, she's 13.2. She might be just over 13.2. I need to measure her really. And she is 17, thanks Mitts, she is 17 years old. So we thought she was 18. I looked in her passport the other night and she was born in 2007, so she's 17, she'll be 18 in May. I had Dan, I was too big to ride her really, so I just kind of let her chill out in the field. We gave her more time off with her injury, although I was able to start riding her. And then, yeah, I just focused on Dan, didn't really ride her, and then just before lockdown, it was right at the beginning of lockdown, we decided that it was unfair on Mitts just being stuck in the field. I had my friend Maisie, who you guys all know, riding Mittens as well back in the summer, and we did get to the end of trotting stage, like canter stage was just starting with like, I had a girl loan her as well from the yard, but it didn't work out in the end. So we did get her to the stage where she could start being ridden and things, and then we was like, it's just unfair for her to be stuck in the field when she could actually be going out and having fun with someone. So we decided to put her out on loan, which is what we've done, and she went out on loan for 3 years, and we were sent pictures and things, and it looked like she was having a really great time and things, but little did we know she got re-loaned out without us knowing to someone else, and she ended up having an injury. Someone decided to ride her along a wall. She fell off the wall into a ditch and done an injury basically, didn't you, Mitzi Moo? And no one told us until I met someone at college who knew where she was and said that they didn't have her anymore, and was like, that's strange because they should still have her. And then we found out, and then we found that's when she had her accident, and she's in a different place. So she come back home, and we've had her home for about 1.5 years now. It took a year to get her sound, and as you guys know, if you've been following us for a while, I am back on Mittens. I got back on her in July. I've done 7 weeks of walking in hand with her back in June, and then I was able to get on her, and yeah, since July she's been in work. We've been to a fun ride. I've obviously taken her trail hunting opening meet, which was successful, and obviously my latest time taking her trail hunting, which didn't end how we wanted it to, did it, Mitts? And yeah, we've just been doing lots of hacking. And that is the stage that we are on, and the plans with Mittens is basically to try and have fun on her without getting hurt. Next year I would like to get her out to more fun rides, as unfortunately we only got her out to one this year because it was the last fun ride of the year. Maybe get her back out trail hunting if she behaves, and yeah, just see what else we get up to. She'll never do jumping or anything like that. It will just be hacking, fun rides and trail hunting. So that is sort of the plan with Mittens. But yeah, Mittens is very sweet natured. She's so good on the ground. Honestly, she's the sweetest pony ever. But riding wise, you can be a bit of a sass queen. Mittens is the type of pony that doesn't like being told what to do. You've kind of got to go along with how she likes to go, and if you tell her no, you need to do it this way, then you basically get attitude from her and sass from her. And I think that's why sometimes me and her do clash, because if she does something, I'm like, no, we don't do it that way, you do it this way, and she doesn't like to be told what to do. She'll throw her toys out the pram, and we'll have some stomping, we'll have some spinning, and we'll just have some sassiness and some squealing and things, because she doesn't like the fact I've told her what she's got to do. Okay? And then we get over it, and then she's fine. But when people see her, they just see her sweet innocence and think, oh, she wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, she wouldn't. But I don't think people believe that she does have sass in her. Hey, Mitts. But when Maisie was riding her, Maisie's never actually seen the sass with her. She's seen the sass with me on her, but Maisie's never actually experienced the sass with Mittens. She's only ever been good with Mittens. But recently Mittens has been a bit sassy with her, and she's like, oh yes, I see what you're on about now. But no, she's honestly such a lovely mare, really kind natured and things, but her problem is she doesn't like to be told what to do. That is the problem, isn't it, Mitts? And some days I can be tacking her up, and I can just tell by tacking her up that she's going to be sassy or she's going to be a bit of a pain. You can just tell with the eyes and just how she's acting when tacking up, and then when you bring her out of the stable to get on her, if she's not going to stand still at the mountain block, or she's not going to let you get on easy, I'm like, now this is going to be an interesting ride. She's going to be sassy. But you know, when she's all right, just stood there tacking up, and she stands at the mountain block, you're like, oh, I think she's going to be okay today. Hey, good girl. One meets Dawn. So Dawn is a 26 years old little Shetland, aren't you, Dawny? Who can be very sassy as well, can't you, hey? So we have actually had Dawn 5 years. It'll be 6 years in April next year. And we wasn't actually meant to get Dawn, was we, girl? So we got Dawn because I had another pony, Jules, alongside Danny and Mittens, who you guys will have never seen on the vlog because unfortunately we loaned her out, and unfortunately she's passed now. But Mittens, we wanted her to be hacked out on her own because she'd never done that before, and I wasn't very confident. I wasn't confident enough to ride Mittens, so we wanted her to go to be ridden by someone else, to take her out riding on her own for a few weeks, just so we knew she could do it. And it meant my little pony Jules couldn't be left on her own when I took Dan out for a ride, so she'd be fine while Dan's there, but when I wanted to take Dan out in the trailer or go for a ride, oh my god, you just couldn't have left her basically. So we was actually friends with the rehoming centre just down the road from us where we kept our horses, and we asked them if there was any chance they had a little pony that was good for Jules to basically have a companion while I take Dan out for a ride. And they said yes. Hello, Dawny. Went and picked Dawny up, and she come back with us, didn't you, Dawny? And we basically fell in love with her. We couldn't see her going back to the rehoming centre, and also the pony that she went with, so when she arrived at the rehoming centre, she was like best friends with this little Exmoor pony. And then when this Exmoor pony had a herd of other horses, she turned really horrible against Dawn, and Dawnie had no friends, and we felt very, very bad sending her back. We literally fell in love with her, didn't we, Dawnie? I fell in love with you. Yep, she's agreeing. So what are you doing? So we basically never sent her back, and the people at the rehoming centre knew that was going to happen, that she'd never actually come back home. So you ended up staying, didn't you, girl? And we had to build her a stable because she didn't have a stable, neither did Dan. So we was currently building Dan a stable. It's only Mittens and Jules that had a stable. So we was building Dan a stable. I got Dan a month before Dawn. And then we had to build Dawn a stable as well, didn't we, girl? But the stable wasn't finished. So when we was going into winter, Dan and Dawn actually shared a stable for like 3-4 months. Dan and Dawn, Dan makes out he doesn't really like Dawn, but he absolutely loves her, and he'd be gutted if anything happened to her. And Dawn absolutely loves Dan, so they would share a stable together, and they would share out of a food bowl and everything. And then once Dawn's stable was actually done, we put her in it, and she wasn't happy in the stable. She didn't like it because she was used to being with Dan, obviously. So it took you a little while, didn't it, girl, to get used to the stable? But now she's fine, aren't you, hey? And she's the sweetest little pony ever. She's literally like a dog. She's hilarious. She's got her own little personality. She's just brilliant. And people on the yard call her the mascot of the yard. There you go. You're just so cute. And Dawnie doesn't really do anything. She's just our little companion that keeps whichever pony company when I'm taking them out. And she's so good because she'll stay on her own as well. And yeah, you're just a good little girl. And for a Shetland, she is very easy, aren't you? You're very good. She will escape mine though. And I'm just going to put it this way. If she was 10, 15 years younger, I don't think we would want her, because I think she would be an absolute nightmare. But with you being the age you are, you're a good little girl, aren't you, girl? And yeah, you're just living her best life. And yeah, she'll be with us now for the rest of her life, won't you, girl? And we gave her, well, my mum gave her a little smarten up on the weekend, trimmed her mane. You had a nice little brush, didn't you, girl? So yes, guys, that's all 3 of my ponies. Hope you've enjoyed getting to know them if you didn't know them. And yeah, stay tuned for next year for more vlogs with them. And I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that has wished me well with my ankle and everything. I really appreciate it. I haven't been ignoring any of the comments. I do need to reply back to them. But yeah, massive appreciation for that. And this Saturday will be 5 weeks since it happened. So yeah, hopefully it won't be too long and I will be back on the horses, so stay tuned. Please make sure that you like and subscribe if you haven't already. If there's not another vlog before Christmas, then I hope you guys all have an amazing Christmas, and I will speak to you after Christmas. But hopefully I will get another vlog in before Christmas Day. But if not, have a lovely Christmas, and I'll see you all after. Bye!